Where have I been? In simple terms, I've just been simply busy. The longer story, I I just kind of been losing motivation for everything. It all kind of started with the Mark shit. After he pulled his crap, it took a huge toll on my mental health. I did something in a friend group that I'm not proud of, and um, that's really all I'll say. I don't want to bring it to my channel because I want to keep it in that friend group because it was a private matter, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I don't want to bring it to my channel. I did want to bring it up because I don't like keeping shit from you guys. It ain't right. It wouldn't set right with me if I didn't tell you about it in some way. Along with this, I had already started losing motivation to do literally anything because of school being a big stressor and working with Pumpty 7 in the back just to bring y'all something really cool that I'm very excited for you guys to see when it does eventually come out. I've also been working on a FLP for Fatal Finale Encore, its final escape section. Not just the entire song, just the final escape section. And the Promise Shucks cover that I made a poll in my community tab for. And just perfecting my chromatic making skills overall. And the biggest one out of all of them, I now have a girlfriend, and she makes me very happy. I want to give her as much attention as I can, and I just kind of want to be there for her. What else can I talk about? What else? There's not really anything. That was really the main reasons, but I guess I'm just gonna go in depth for those reasons. But be warned, it will go into sensitive topics. If any of these topics that I do bring up are triggering to some of you, I would click away. But for those who stay, here we go. Starting off with the Mark shit. After Mark used his dad to strike fear into me and utterly destroy me mentally with this, oh, I got your IP, and I know what you look like, and I know your real name shit, it gave me a sense of doubt because of built-up stress from everything that happened previously. And it didn't allow me to think straight. I had become so broken because of this that I kind of just told anybody, literally anything that was hurting me. I didn't care about what people could do with that information. I kind of just trusted. I use that term very loosely. I just kind of trusted anybody with any shit that I had said. And adding the people who kept DMing me relentlessly about what had happened with the Mark situation before I had made my exposing video talking about it. It was hard to keep up with literally anything because somehow I had become a beacon of information and the second center of attention throughout the entire drama, aside from Mark, of course. I don't even know how it happened. It just kind of happened. And then having Mark come up in DMs after we had bickered in DMs about this, and with his dad saying, I have your information. I would show screenshots, but I do not have my main account on Discord active anymore. nor do I have Mark's account DMs open anymore after I had blocked him. I closed the DMs, so I cannot give screenshots. I know that kind of sounds like a tacky excuse, but I can't. That's the truth. But for Mark to come up in my DMs after we had talked, I don't remember what we were talking about, but he had said, I think after I had asked him to tell me my full legal name because he said he had that info readily on the side, and he had said somebody's name that was completely different from mine, and I had told him that wasn't me, and he went up and said it was a whole entire misunderstanding and it was targeted towards somebody else, that somebody else will not be named for their protection. And then for him to also say that since he had made a past PFP quote, even though he really didn't, Humpty7 had did a reskin of a Flareon template that he said was free use. You can check his community tab. If you scroll a little bit, you can see a template for evolutions, and he said, I believe he had said it was free use. Let me check real quick. I want to make sure that I am correct about this before I just start saying random shit. Okay, I want to make sure that I am right when I say this. I actually think he took it down. Oh no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He had told us in the past that it was free use, and he even gave an entire post just dedicated to evolution models. A second version of them, too. With a shiny Eevee, a regular Eevee, a Flareon, a Vaporeon, Jolteon, literally every single evolution. And for him to say that he, quote, owned Solar Flareon, which is my OC, that you guys see in my PFP, it was odd to me, and it stressed me out some more because I didn't really know at the time how OCs worked, and if it's because it used a template in his art style that maybe it did belong to him. I didn't know. I was in a terrible mental state back then. But that's really all for the Mark thing. Now, for my loss of motivation, this is where shit gets real. So this is where the main part of the sensitive topics gets to. My loss of motivation stems from the previously said dramas and from personal life. My motivation started to decline around August of last year, and around that summer as well. I had some issues with a family member over an entire summer, or about over half of it, and it took a big toll on my mental health. Still kind of healing from the wounds of it, but it's not as potent and strong anymore. I completely forgive this family member. I'm not gonna name who this family member is, for obvious reasons, because, that's not really information that should be known. Trying to think of how to put this into words. Around the time of my birthday, August 19th, my dog Milo, love him, he had a grand mal seizure. He has seizures because of his blood sugar, and we do our best to feed him and keep him from having those sugars. Fuck, um, seizures. Sorry, and we even go as far as if he doesn't even eat within that day, we give him a tiny bit of sugar water to keep his blood sugar up. And he had a grand mal one, which is the first one I've ever seen. I had gotten up and like I had woken up. I just woken up. I sat in my bed for maybe 30-ish minutes. I went to go see my mom like I normally do. Just greeted her, told her good morning, and then I started petting Milo. Played with him a little bit, and he had to nowhere bit really hard down onto my hand, and then like maybe 3 seconds later, he fell over, went entirely stiff, and started like screeching. It was terrifying to hear, and um me and my mom both thought he died because went limp and he was just blankly staring and his tongue was hanging out of his mouth. So we both had thought that he had died, and it was terrifying. Um we didn't know what to do because it was the first one, and it scarred me. I'm still scarred from it. Um it's a little hard to talk about because it's hard to explain because of kind of reliving that, but I do still want to talk about it because it's better to talk about it than to not talk about it at all and just keep it locked in. Uh, but I had vented to somebody, and then that somebody told another untrustworthy somebody that then used it. They used that information against me in an argument. Again, I'm not naming names because that's not right. Um, and yeah, they had used it against me in an argument. So I didn't think much of it. I went to bed, maybe 30 minutes later, and then to an hour later, I just started getting flooded with thoughts of, um, how do I want to word this without YouTube wanting to hurt me? Uh, Self damage. Um, and thoughts of committing die on myself. I don't know if that's fine for YouTube. I don't know. Anyway, that's not the point. It's not important. Um, then a little while after that, I sat in my bed trying to fight the thoughts, and then I just got up out of my bed, went to my laundry room, and I just sat by the dryer. Sat by the dryer and just bawled my eyes out. And then I'm a semi-religious kind of person, so yes, I do believe in God. And it was a blessing from God that I had the thought to go to my mother at that time. I went to my mother and I told her that I had thoughts of, you know, self damage and death. We sat out in my living room for a few minutes talking, and we had settled on that I wasn't safe being alone that night. Um, I could not stay the rest of the night at my house. I was not safe, and I had gone to a hospital. I sat in a waiting room, not in a waiting room, but in um a hospital room for like a day and a half, I want to say, because they didn't have a room open at the mental care facility that I planned to go to. They didn't have a room open yet. And they said that they would like the next day. So I sat in a hospital room for a little while. I slept. I was under constant supervision to make sure that I was safe. And I just kind of sat there throughout the time I was there, just watching movies, really. Um, and then I was put into the mental hospital like uh halfway into that day, the next day. The mental care hospital. Sorry, I don't want to call it a mental hospital. Sorry. Um, and it was relaxing to not to like think about myself mainly, and to just um every day we had a I know I'm this is gonna go back on track. It's important to this. Um, we have scheduled eating times like in school. But adding dinner and breakfast onto that. So we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And every lunch and dinner, there was a little call time in between and after those times that we could call our parents and just talk to them civilly and just really just talk to them. And just hearing my own mother's voice tell me that I could get through it, and my dad telling me I could get through it, and my sister, it, it gave me big hope. Because it gave me big hope. And it just hold on, give me a moment. It gave me hope. Really big hope. And then tying that in with me wanting to see my dog again. It gave me immense hope that I could do it. I was in there for 3.5 days, and after I had gotten out, I I was feeling like $1 million. Remember the feeling like it was yesterday. I felt like $1 million. I felt like an entirely new being, an entirely new person, and it was nice. Am I still feeling that feeling? No. Am I in a good headspace right now? Absolutely. But the feeling was incredible. I took a 2 month hiatus from social media, Discord, and I also and that's when I had put that community post out there that I was quote done with that friend group. My brain works weird and it's terrible with letting things go, so I ended up going back to that group. I will admit that, yes. I am terrible at letting things go. So I am still in that group, but we have made some changes to where it's a safer place. It's a better place than what it was. Way better. And it's it's a good place now, and I'm happy to be in it because it gives me a sense of belonging there, and I hold it close to my heart. So after that 2 month break, I kind of started getting back into Discord here and there, just joining a VC, not talking because I didn't want my parents knowing at the time that I was on Discord. And it was good. I'm happy. It's still good. I got more and more into Discord. They found out later. They didn't really stop me because I was still in a pretty good headspace. And this all of this has happened within the course of the last few months of last year, August through December. All happened within that time frame. Short time frame, a lot of shit happened. And towards the end of the year, November 16th, one of the worst days of my life. One of the worst days of my life. Me going to the mental hospital and wanting to die. That doesn't even begin to comprehend this. I had lost a pet that day. I know that kind of sounds like a small ish thing, but it was extremely big to me. I say small as in like it doesn't outweigh wanting to commit. But for me it did because I was close with this cat. Ollie was his name. He was a big black tomcat. I put a video in the description of an old video that I posted on this channel actually. Many years back, like over half a decade ago. It was just me playing with this little white string with him. I'll put that video in the description if you guys want to see him. My emotional attachment to him was beyond any of my animals I have in my house. Uh, a cat from his litter that we had previously had, he had to be put down because of an accident that happened with a recliner chair. Um, and I I don't want to go into too much detail because it's disturbing to me. But in short, there was an accident with the recliner and he had to be put down. I was really close with that cat within the short time we had him throughout February of I don't know what year. I think it was maybe 2016, 2017, maybe. Um and within like a few months we had gotten Ollie. Same litter and a lot like his brother. I grew an instant attachment to this cat. Loved him to the core. And I was in my room. I remember like it was literally yesterday. I was in my room playing Blade and Sorcery in Discord, and my mom came into my room urgently. I didn't know what. I thought she was just. I thought something. I didn't really think much of it, and she said, "Well, sorry, something's wrong with Ollie." Because I was kind of at first before she had said there was something wrong with Ollie. I said I was just kind of dismissing the situation, which I do feel bad about still. But when she had said something was wrong with Ollie, I instantly got off of everything. And when I'd seen him, uh, it was his right front paw, that was completely limp and not working anymore. It would not work. We took him to the vet. We were crying about it, stressed, and the vet had told us that it was a blood clot and he couldn't feel anything in that arm anymore, and it was only a matter of time before it would have to be amputated. We were heartbroken about that, and then the big news hit us that he'd had cancer. Severe cancer, even. How we had not noticed is beyond us. And we didn't think much of, like, he snored. He snored quite a bit. We didn't think much of it because of the fact that we thought he was just fat. And when they had told us, it was a terrible sense of dread. I wanted to damage other people. I was instantly plummeted into a terrible state of mind. And the next day, like, he was put on painkillers that cancer patients, like human cancer patients, would be on. He was a pretty tanky cat. He was put on painkillers like those. And the next day we had to put him down. I gave him one last little treat before we had taken him to be put down. And I just remember going in there, hugging him, just spending as much time with him before the doctor came in with the needle to put him to sleep. I couldn't stay in the room. I didn't want to traumatize myself like that. Do I regret it? Yes. And no. But I couldn't stay in there and watch my cat die. I couldn't do that. I left and I just cried on the phone to um a lifelong friend of mine. I just cried to her. And I I seen my parents come out, and I felt like I had to be that rock for them. Even for my dad. I felt like I had to be a rock for them to lean on. So I comforted my mother and my sister as much as I can, and my dad, which was hard on me because I didn't pay attention to myself. I didn't try comforting myself. I wanted to comfort other people rather than myself. I was very selfless. Too selfless. And it caught up to me that Wednesday. That Wednesday, that Wednesday night, it just hit me like a pile of bricks, like it did that day I went into the mental health hospital. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't care for the thought of ending, you know. I didn't have much of a thought about that. Um, and I just kind of laid there in my bed, not caring about anybody, not caring about myself. I didn't want to do anything. I was too lazy to want to hurt myself. I know YouTube's probably gonna kill me. That's not important. But I was too lazy at that point to do anything. But I still wanted to end my book, if you know what I mean. Um, and I just remember for some reason, don't know why, I didn't go to my parents for this, not at all. I actually went to Pump T7. I messaged him on phone. I'll actually read the text messages right here. Let me find them real quick. It shouldn't be that hard to find them. So my phone doesn't die before I get to it. But shouldn't be that hard to find them. There it is. Okay. I told him I want to end my story. I didn't say that, but you know what I mean. I said I want to end my story. Like, genuinely. I want to I want to end it. My book, my story. He said, "Don't." I said, "Why shouldn't I? Nothing is going good for me." He said, "I know, but that's not the answer. Why try when I get nothing but sadness? Think about how you'd affect everyone else." When someone is, I told them in reply to, "I know, but it's not the answer." I told them, when someone is pushed like this, it really does end up being last resort. I know that sounds corny, but it's real. It's it is really real. He said, "I know, but we care for you, man." And then I said in response, for think about how everybody feels. I said, I didn't really care. I didn't really care about how other people would feel if I was out of this world. I didn't care. And he replied, "If you did it," with two dots. I also replied with that saying, "I don't care what people think." He said, "Not even us?" I said, "I don't care." He said, dot, dot, dot. He said, "Want to talk about it in VR chat? Vent about your feelings." I said, "Worth a shot, but I can't promise it'll do much." He said, "All right." We got to talking. I just talked to him about literally anything. I talked to him about things burdening me mentally, issues that I had within the friend group, and then I got into just talking about my entire family bloodline somehow. I had gone to talking about my grandfather's, how one is a really was a really big car painter here in Ohio. A lot of the trucks and Fords here were painted by him. And my other grandfather, a professional boxing coach, he had gotten the offer to train Muhammad Ali. He didn't take it because he wanted to take care of my mother. I know it's hard to believe, but I promise you, on right hand on the Bible, I'm telling the truth. He didn't take the offer because he wanted to take care of my mom and my aunt, and that made something click within me. That, hey, I want to make them proud. And then all those thoughts just started going away, and just I didn't have those thoughts anymore. My mental health got a little boost in just an endless sea of darkness. I got into a better mood. My tone perked up, and I say this with full certainty, Rev. Pumpty7, that's his nickname, Rev. Rev, I really do owe it to you, man. Because if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here right now. I really wouldn't be. Uh I I can't put it in any other way. I wouldn't be here making this video. It I owe everything to you. I really do. And with the past private group chat drama that I briefly mentioned, that had put me in a state to where I wanted to end my story. And Glaceon Gaming, aka Scout, he had saved me indirectly during that time that I wanted to end my story. He was just there for me and helped me realize that I wasn't alone. He was there for me. I owe it to the both of you, Scout and Rev. I owe it to the both of you that I'm even still walking this earth. That I have a girlfriend. I really do owe it to you. You two both saved my life at 2 different times. You both, even through the screens, you both are brothers to me. Truly, thank you. I couldn't ask for better friends. You two really did save my life. And I can't thank you guys enough. That is the best thing that anybody could do for somebody, is save their life from wanting to end their own story. I can't say it enough. Thank you. Thank you. On another reason, we are now departing from this section. With me being busy, I have many side projects I'm working on. Like I said, my fatal finale, encore final escape FLP. Hard to get nodes into the correct spots, and to tune them correctly. I overworked myself doing it, and I lost motivation in that project. Now, that doesn't mean it's canceled per se. I will get back to it eventually, but I am still wanting to get that finished and get it pushed out there because I see no FLPs of it that I know of on YouTube or anywhere. And I want to give that community something fun. Give them a way to make a full cover Fatal Finale Encore. Because I do love the VersusSonic.exe community and just the EXE community in general. And then with the Shucks DX cover, I have the entire song's done. The vocals are tuned by Triple L Gaming. Thank you, Triple. They're tuned, and the entire cover is done. I just need to make the cover art for it. I'm aiming for it to be semi-similar to the original Shucks DX cover art. And I just want it to be close to that. So I am trying to work on it. I haven't worked on it here lately, but that's the only thing that needs to be done, and the entire thing's ready to post. I just gotta find the motivation to do it. And my chromatic making skills, I have started experimenting with non-pre-recorded samples, like just talking, like how I've been doing, grabbing samples from a string of sentences and just turning them into a chromatic. It's good-ish. It could be better, and I have improved a little bit. I just found out that getting a sung piece of audio and vocals is so much better sounding to get samples out of than the traditional way that I have been doing. And with effects that I found from a tutorial video, and just using FL Studio in weird ways, I am getting better at making chromatics. The chromatic I am talking about will be used in future covers that I do make. May not be the Shucks DX one because that was before I made that chromatic. I might change it, I might not change it, I don't know. It sounds pretty good where it is. I know that I'm kind of good at making chromatics, but I do feel like I can always improve improve in some way. I want to get as close to perfecting it as I can. And with the side project that I mentioned about working with Pumpty 7 with, it's a sort of collab project. There's Pump, me, Glaceon Gaming, and Triple L Gaming. I can't say fully what it is because that'd spoil the surprise. But it is very time consuming. The Friday Night Funkin' song, it's, I have a lot of sprite work to do, and, it's very time consuming. And, and thus far, it's pretty fucking fire. If I do say so myself. It's awesome. The lyrics that are going to be heard in it are awesome. And I really do think you guys will enjoy it. When it does come out, obviously. And for school, school is school. It's high school. There's a lot to do, and not much time to do it. With my block scheduling, it's kind of like there's A, B, and then C schedules, or CM schedules since I'm at a Catholic school. My A schedule, I don't know how it's organized, but it's a set amount of periods in that day. Each period it's 4 periods in a day. Each period is an hour and a half long. Except for homeroom, obviously. And lunch. But every class is an hour and a half long. And then the next day, the B schedule, there's the last 4 blocks or periods that are also an hour and a half. Which is kind of good because I get an hour and a half study hall, which is incredible. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not really that much time to do anything as you may think. An hour and a half flies by fast in the study hall. And school's just a pretty big stressor because of that, block scheduling. Because there's a day you learn one thing, and then the next day you don't have any of those previous classes, and you have a different set of classes entirely. And then the next day you have those classes again. So there's an entire day break from those classes, and it's very difficult to retain information like that. So good thing that we're going to a 4-day week, 4-day week next year with every single class every single day for 50 minutes. So meaning 50 minutes study hall, and just most importantly 50 minutes study hall, which should be pretty good because I should be busy during that and not having to have time for side things unless it's like the beginning of the quarter or semester. And apart from that, me having a girlfriend, I want to give her my attention. I want to just spend time with her and actually live outside of YouTube and social media in general. I want to make her as happy as she makes me happy. and she does make me happy. A good confidence boost that I have achieved by being in this relationship, and just the happiness that she gives me. I do appreciate her a lot. That's another one of the main reasons why I've been away. Now, it's really everything. If you have gone to this point in the video, thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing me yap. That kind of sounds dismissive, but that's the best way I can word it. Thank you for listening to me talk. I just wanted to tell you guys what's been going on with me and why I haven't been active on my YouTube anymore. Or as much as I have been in the past. But I'm not quitting. I am still here on YouTube, and I will be on YouTube for the foreseeable future. So just hang in there. I do plan on clearing my project board for the time and just working on one thing at a time without even thinking of those. Mentally canceling them, not actually canceling them. So I think the main one I'm going to try to work on is the Shucks one. Get that. Forget the Final Escape one for the moment. Forget all those. This is just my own personal thoughts. Forget all those and just work on the Shucks DX one and get that pushed out. And I'm just gonna try to reorganize myself and try to work at my own pace, but also try to get back into the groove of YouTube as much as I can. Obviously, I don't want to stress myself out again. But other than that, that's really all I have to talk about with you guys. I'm happy to be where I am today. To be with all these wonderful individuals. Just thank you, everybody. Thank you. I will aim to come back this summer. Don't keep me to that, because I don't want to promise anything. So I aim to come back around this summer. It's a 3-month time frame, and I'll need some things to do, obviously, that aren't project related. So I will need some things to do. So I probably will be back. Don't get your hopes up, though. I don't wanna hope anybody out. That's really all I have for. I'll stop keeping you guys. I really do hope all of you have a wonderfully blessed day, and I love you all. Thank you. Good night, or good morning, good day. I don't know. See ya.